Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 21st. Yes, the 21st of July, 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 2. Second night of Fyter Fest. Not night 1, night 2. Don't know why we need two different nights of Fyter Fest, but that's what they gave us, and that's what we got. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, on Twitch, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to subscribe to throughout the month. Excuse me. And, well, we greatly appreciate it if you supported us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, you get other cool perks by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account as well. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out either with a super chat donation or a super sticker donation. All super chats do get read live on the air. Also, I'm just going to say it right now. I have to put you in a timeout. Brian Lazaro, I don't want to have to put you in a timeout, but I do, because I need to hide your message there. No NXT spoilers. People don't want to be spoiled. So if you guys have NXT spoilers, I will be putting out an NXT spoiler video, and I already just put out one spoiler up on the website, pwunlimited.co, but I'm not talking about that in this live stream. And then people don't want to come to the live stream and accidentally have NXT stuff spoiled in the chat. So guys, please refrain, either both on YouTube and Twitch, from posting any NXT spoilers. I didn't want to have to time you out there, Brian, but it's the only way they can. YouTube lets me delete your chat. But if it does become something again, if you do it multiple times, then I will have to continue to ban you, or not ban you, but time you out. Because again, some people, trust me, when NXT used to be recorded, like pre-taped all the time, when it wasn't live, I had a lot of people that be like, hey, I don't follow the spoilers because I love watching it without knowing what's going to happen. And there's still a lot of people like that. So, just so you know, please, no AEW or no NXT spoilers in the live chat, even though they filmed two shows today, and we know some pretty big things that did happen on those shows. I don't want any spoilers in the chat, because I don't want people to come here and go, what the fuck, man? I didn't come here to get spoiled for NXT. I wanted to watch next week and not know what happened. So, just going to say it right now. Put it out there right at the start. Please, 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 no NXT spoilers. But with that, if you are watching on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either with a super chat or a super sticker donation in the live chat. All super chats do get read live on the air. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel as a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to non-news videos, podcast episodes, and so much more. With that, remember, the best way to directly support us is by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 2. Show opens up, and MJF has joined commentary for the Chris Jericho-Shawn Spears match. The rules of this match, as it was the first labor of Jericho, and the rules were as followed. Well, Shawn Spears can use a chair, Jericho cannot. Jericho knocked the chair out of Spears' hands very early and took him down with a running forearm. Spears got some offense, but Jericho tossed him over the top and then sent him to the floor, where Jericho whipped him into the barricade. Jericho then grabbed a camera from the ringside cameraman and celebrated. Spears grabbed a chair from under the ring and cut off Jericho's springboard attack. He targeted Jericho's injured left arm and Jericho came back with an enziguri and went to the top rope, but Spears popped up and took Jericho down to the mat. Spears continued to attack Jericho's arm. Jericho then avoided a corner splash and took down Spears with a shoulder tackle. He landed a double sledge off the top rope. Jericho propped Spears up in the corner and landed 10 punches before hitting a top rope Frankensteiner. He then ran into a thrust kick for a 2. Spears was on the offense here and continued his offense with a spine buster. He went to the outside for another chair and smacked it over Jericho's back. He set up to smash it over Jericho's head, but Jericho took him down and locked in the walls of Jericho. Spears fought to reach the ropes, but Jericho brought him back to the center of the ring. Foley then distracted the referee as Spears frantically tapped out. Sammy Guevara then ran down and sent Tully packing. Spears then grabbed a chair and whacked Jericho with it. He then hit the C4, but Jericho kicked out. I think in AEW, this is the first time anybody's ever kicked out of that C4. Spears then set up to hit a chair-assisted C4, but Jericho escaped, Judas Effect, and picked up the victory. So Chris Jericho has accomplished his first labor, has defeated his first labor in Shawn Spears. MJF immediately grabbed a mic and said Jericho's not allowed to have anybody come out here and help him anymore. That's not going to be allowed in the future matches. He said, and next week, your second labor. It's a no disqualification match, or as Alex Marvez called it, a no rules match. He said against, well, this man, Nick Gage. And I go, oh, fuck. Nick Gage is going to lose, which I would not want to see, but Nick Gage has to lose. There's no way he beats Jericho because, well, Jericho's going to go through these labors to get to MJF. So he's not losing. And that means Nick Gage's first match in AEW, whether this is a one and done or he's sticking around for a little bit, he just has to take that L, which sucks. It sucks when you see somebody new come in and they lose their first match. It sucks in any company. Nick Gage comes out, gets a huge reaction from the crowd. Yeah, Excalibur's over here yelling, MDK all day. We got a brief video on Miro. The most notable part is that he's wearing a Bloodsport jacket. Wouldn't be against seeing Miro at Bloodsport against anybody. Going forward, we have the Elite Hunter, as they call him. Why would you copy a gimmick of Yoshitatsu? Like, why? Frankie Kazarian taking on Doc Gallows. Kazarian went right after Gallows in the corner as soon as the match started, and he followed this up with a missile dropkick. Gallows came back with the big boot, and he established the advantage of the match. He whipped Kazarian to the floor, where the latter fell victim to a cheap shot from Anderson, leading into a commercial break. Once back from that break, Kazarian avoided some shots and took Gallows down with a clothesline and a back suplex. A springboard leg drop followed up for a 2. Anderson got involved again and was taken out with a leg bulldog. The distraction, though, was enough for Gallows to hit a right hand and a sit-out tree slam to pick up the victory. Kazarian loses. After the match, the Good Brothers attacked and hit him with a magic killer. This would then bring out Kenny Omega and Don Callis. And I didn't like Kenny's promo here. Like, Kenny's like, this is what happens when you mess with the elite. You go from the Elite Hunter and you go from the Elite Hunter and then Don's like, in his ear, he's like, the Elite Hunter has become the Elite Hunted. And I'm like, kind of made Omega look dumb there. You kind of made Omega look like he's not good. Basically, they made Omega look bad on the mic, where Don had to tell him what to say. Like, he can't come up with his own. Like, as soon as he said, the Elite Hunter has become, I'm like, the Elite Hunted. And for them to make it seem like Omega couldn't think of that on his own, I'm like, bro, I thought about that a millisecond after you said the Elite Hunter has become. So I didn't like that at all. I did not like the whole Don had to tell Kenny what to say. Kenny, he doesn't drink alcohol, but what would you think? Kenny's drunk and can't speak for himself? They go to attack Kazarian, and out would come Hangman. Hangman came down to the ring with beer in hand, and Callis pointed out the Elite have the 4-on-1 numbers advantage and asked if Page was stupid or drunk to get into the ring with them. Page handed his drink to Don and struck, but was immediately taken down by the Good Brothers. The Dark Order would run out and make the save. Page then hit a buckshot lariat on Carl Anderson. And interesting enough, no Young Bucks on this entire show. No Young Bucks at all. No Bucks, no Cutler. Very interesting. I don't think we've ever seen. Well, I can't say that. We have. Outside of the Georgia shows, I don't think we've ever seen the Bucks not on a show. Like, I don't remember the last time the Bucks were not on a Dynamite outside of those shows they filmed at QT's gym. Just saying. Very odd that they set up last week the 10-man tag. They then did more to build that 10-man tag for next week, but no Bucks tonight in Garland. Very weird. Like, very weird. Now I wonder what content from them we get next week for BTE, and if they even explain. Like, I'm going to go look something up really fast. Give me 2 seconds to send a message. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So I sent a message to say, hey, I got one source that may know. And so we'll see. We'll see if we can find out why the Young Bucks were not on the show tonight. Well, Broken King Slender says, I forgot all about Yoshitatsu. Yeah, Yoshitatsu in New Japan used to be the Bullet Club Hunter. Then he kind of teamed up with, well, not kind of, but he teamed up with Billy Gunn, and then Billy Gunn kind of endorsed him and wore Bullet Club Hunter shirts. Yeah. They're fucking... Frankie Kazarian is using a stolen gimmick from Yoshitatsu, of all people. A guy that nobody has cared about, whether he was in Japan or WWE. Yoshi freaking Tatsu. Just saying. Asiba-san said, basically asking if CM Punk can use a Cult of Personality song. Yes, because that is not a licensed, that is not a song created by WWE. That is a regular, just a regular song by, I know the band. I know the band. Why is it, Living Color. The song by Living Color. All Tony Khan has to do is pay for the licensing, and he can have Cult of Personality in AEW. Just like Moxley's got Wild Thing. Just like Jungle Boy's got his song. Just like Orange Cassidy's got his song. I don't remember what those two are called. They pay a licensing fee to use those songs. And it's the same thing they can do here with Cult of Personality. They can pay to use that song. Also, Phil Brooks owns the name CM Punk. So he can be CM Punk coming out to Cult of Personality in AEW. So, just saying. So going forward, Team Taz had a video where Taz says he's proud of Ricky Starks for winning the FTW Championship. Starks said that they'd have a championship celebration next week. Brian Cage was interviewed about it. He said the celebration works out because he loves celebrations. Going forward, we had Darby Allin versus Wheeler Yuta. Darby had Sting with him. Yuta had Orange Cassidy. So Allin had his ribs taped up, selling that coffin match from last week. They performed some chain wrestling early, and then they said, hey, by the way, Hikuleo of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the son of Haku, is sitting in the crowd. He's going to have a venture. How did they say it? What's the saying? An invested interest or that's it. He had a vested interest, or will have, in the main event because he will be taking on the winner, either Moxley or Archer, next week. And they showed him like 3 times in the crowd. Yuta targeted Allen's midsection, striking it with thrust kicks and dropping him over the top rope. Allen came back briefly, but Yuta pulled him off the ropes and locked on an octopus hold. After Allen escaped, Yuta hit a German suplex and a bridge for a 2. Allen pulled Yuta off the ropes and hit a superplex. Sting and Orange faced off at ringside, and Orange did some of his shtick to Sting. Yuta then tried to take advantage of a cradle, but Allen hit a stunner and a coffin drop to pick up the quick victory. This then led to the Blade coming out and attacking Orange Cassidy with some brass knucks. They're set to face off later on in the night. Also, guys, remember, if you want to get your questions answered and you want me to make sure I don't miss your questions in the chat, submit them as a super chat, and I will make sure to get to them no matter what. The video package recapped Jon Moxley and Lance Archer's previous match in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I go, whoa, they got the good quality footage, because on New Japan Strong, that New Japan content has never looked that good. I don't know where they got this footage from, but it's never looked that good on New Japan Strong. Archer said that he'd knock Moxley's ass out, and Moxley said, one way or another, it's over. We then got a video recapping the Britt Baker-Nyla Rose feud, and then we got that match that, to me, was a weak match. I didn't think the match itself was that good. Both women were doing moves kind of slow. Nyla Rose's kicks and punches did not look good. They looked very soft. And yeah, Britt Baker took Rose to the mat early and targeted Rose's left arm. Rose powered out, but rolled her up for a 2. She caught a running attack from Baker and hit a press slam followed by a running senton. Rose perched Baker over the top rope, but Rebel pulled her off as Baker flatlined Rose in the turnbuckle. Baker dominated throughout the break, meaning Rose essentially worked babyface in this match. Yeah, Britt Baker was the heel of this match, which was weird. Once back, Rose overpowered Baker and hit a backbreaker follow-away slam combination. Baker avoided a corner cannonball and hit a sling blade. Backslid Rose for a near fall, but Rose got her shoulder up. Crowd thought it was a 3. Baker then hit a crucifix bomb for a 2, then sloppily rolled Rose up for a 2, and followed this up with a curb stomp for yet another near fall. Rose leveled Baker with a forearm strike, leading to a double down spot. Then this just didn't look good at all. Rebel distracted the ref, so Britt takes the belt, and she tosses it at Nyla and then jumps down like she does the Eddie Guerrero spot where, grab this weapon. I fall down, pretend like you hit me. But as soon as the ref was no longer distracted, he was then distracted again by Vicky Guerrero. So then Nyla throws the belt back to Baker. She's like, don't hit me with it. And the referee sees that and goes, are you about to use that weapon? Don't use that weapon. And then Nyla goes for a beast bomb. She goes to kick Baker in the gut. You see her foot like nowhere near Baker's gut. And she gets a near fall off the beast bomb. Rose then went for another beast bomb. He sloppily got her up. Baker then kind of countered out of it. It didn't look that good. Floated it over into a lockjaw. She barely had her hand. I don't know. This lockjaw didn't even look good. I don't know if her arm wasn't long enough, the way she was positioned or something, but she barely had 2 fingers in. She wasn't even pulling the jaw. And finally, Nyla just submits. This match itself was okay. I didn't think this was that good of a match. And I may just put that maybe on Nyla, because it was Nyla's stuff for the most part that didn't look good. But there was still some stuff by Baker that didn't look that good either. So next up, Tony Schiavone moderated a press conference between FTR, Santana, and Ortiz. And I hate when Santana and Ortiz go, because they've done this before to FTR. Oh, we've been here since day 1 of AEW, which technically they weren't day 1. Very close to day 1, but they weren't day 1. And they go, you guys were elsewhere and then came in after we made this place. And I go, well, technically, they tried to get out before day one. WWE didn't let them, so they came to AEW the moment they were allowed. So when people use the whole, we've been here since the beginning, where were you while we were establishing this company? To use that line on somebody, especially FTR, that was trying to leave, it's just falling on deaf ears. We all know that they wanted to be in AEW from the beginning. We know they asked for their release from WWE in early 2019. It's not like somebody like an Aleister Black or Malachi Black that just left WWE that was still talking fondly about WWE upon getting released as if he would have gone back. Yes, now he's in AEW. It's not like he tried getting out of this company for 2 years to go to AEW. Unlike FTR, who was trying to get out of WWE, basically as soon as they knew that there was an AEW to go to, they're like, we want to release. We don't like the way you're using tag teams. So I hate, because it's not the first time someone said it to FTR. Where have you been? We were here from the beginning while you guys were up in New York. Like, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. And then Ortiz then said the FTR, just a pit stop on their way to tag team gold. Santana then said, there's a difference between you guys and us. And he starts producing pictures of his childhood, talking about his mom fighting Social Security and finding ways for them to live and not be on the street and this and that. And I'm like, what does that matter? You've overcome. You got signed by a national wrestling company and are making pretty good money there, buddy. What is it? I get it. You came from hard times to now be in this company. But honestly, what does that have to do with the now? What does it really have to do with the now? You guys are both really good tag teams. Harwood said that the only thing that he cares about is his family, God, and pro wrestling. And every time fucking Dax Harwood talks, I feel like I'm watching the fucking Jim Crockett promotions from 1985 and totally with them. I literally, every time Dax Harwood cuts one of these just tremendous promos, I'm just transported back to an era where I wasn't born yet, but I've watched a lot of. It's great. Dax is just amazing. And sometimes it's like, fuck, that's a pro wrestler. The way he carries himself, the way his promos are, he just comes off as a pro wrestler. Like what a real professional wrestler is, not just a guy playing wrestler or someone that we think is like an actor, like acting this role. No, he comes just off as a pro wrestler. The way fucking Dax Harwood talks, it's just perfect. The way he's just like, the only three things I care about is God, my family, and pro wrestling. And I'm just like, what era are we in? We find out that these two teams will battle it out next week, Fight for the Fallen. So next up, Andrade El Idolo comes out. He was supposed to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and he shoos him away pretty quickly. And I'm like, well, Andrade's just a guy. Andrade El Idolo is just a guy on the roster. There is absolutely 100% not a damn thing at all that makes him special whatsoever in this company at all. Nothing. And so before Tony leaves, the guy that's always with Andrade with the tablet is like, hold on one second. And Andrade's like, I've got a major surprise for everybody here. And then the guy converses with Tony Schiavone. And Schiavone's like, really? For real? And he goes, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the new executive consultant for Andrade El Idolo, Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero comes out and says, this is the place to be. With all due respect, he doesn't see anybody with as much talent as Andrade has. He says he's in the locker room. There's a lot of great men and women back there, but nobody has the talent of Andrade El Idolo. And out would come the Death Triangle with Alex Abrahantes. And the first thing I thought of was, fuck, all three of them together and no one's hurt? When's the last time we saw that? Pac said they heard Andrade bring them up last week. Death Triangle hides from nobody. Andrade thanked them when we got loud Cierro Miedo chants from the crowd. Andrade said some words in Spanish that I don't know what he said. Chavo translated them for Pac. He's like, Pac, you only speak one language. Let me tell you what he said. The Death Triangle is talented, and they should be holding championships. And if they want to change that, they should listen to Andrade. He said, basically, Phoenix and Pentagon should not be working for Pac. They should be working for him. He said, I got one question. Why do you work for Pac? Why not work for Andrade El Idolo? And Pac gets pissed and goes, well, excuse me? They don't work for me. We're a team. Death Triangle is a family. Phoenix said that they were the real faces of Latinos, and Andrade got a little mad about that. Penta said something in Spanish, and Abrahantes translated to, Penta says, why would we want to join a group with you when you're not even on our level? Death Triangle then rushed the ring. We got a bunch of referees and people to break this all up before anything happened. Andrade told them, Tranquilo, before he got out of the ring and left with Chavo and whatever that other guy is. This just didn't really do it for me. Like, they'll probably have some good matches. But to me, Andrade is just another guy on the roster. There's not a grip of special to him. And I feel bad for saying that because I know how great of a wrestler he is. But there is absolutely nothing special about him. Not at all to me in AEW. So then, weirdly enough, they go, earlier tonight, the Hardy family office had a fight with Jurassic Express and Christian. And basically, they told us, earlier tonight, we filmed AEW Dark. But we're going to not air that on Dark. Well, we might still air that on Dark, but we're also going to show it here on Dynamite. Set up a match for next week. And I'm like, what? Why? What? Did you like time the show out wrong? Go, oh shit, we need to fill 4 minutes. They cut to the back where Jungle Boy is laying kind of all underwear model-ish on a crate. He's got Christian in front of him, Luchasaurus next to Christian, and Christian goes, I thought last week when I beat Matt Hardy, this was over, but it's not. But we take out the Hardy family office. It's us three, Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, against Private Party and Angelico next week. And I go, sure, why not? QT Marshall was with Alex Marvez. He said next week he'd apologize for dumping a protein shake over Tony Schiavone's head. I honestly had forgotten about that. Next up, we had Orange Cassidy versus The Blade. This match was all right. Orange surprised Blade after the attack earlier tonight by actually coming out. Blade thought he wasn't going to come out. Blade fled to the floor and caught Orange upon re-entry into the ring. Orange took Blade down and laid in some strikes. Blade acted like he was injured in the corner as Bunny checked on him. Blade surprised Orange and took him down, but Orange countered a suplex into a stunner. There was a lot of back and forth going on here. Chris Statlander tried to stop Bunny from getting involved at one point. Orange then pushed Blade into Bunny as we went to commercial break. Back from the break, Blade caught a satellite DDT and dropped Orange over the top rope. A running lariat and a spinning tombstone pile driver followed for a 2. Blade went for the Doctor Bomb, but Orange fought out and hit the beach break for a 2. Bunny distracted the official and tossed the brass knucks to Blade. Orange then avoided a strike and hit the Orange Punch to pick up the victory. After the match, Orange grabbed the brass knucks and hit another Orange Punch to the Blade. Alex Marvez was with Chris Jericho. He said, next week, Chris Jericho, we will see you facing off against Nick Gage in a no-rules match. What do you have to say about that? Jericho said that he'd bring the most violent and demented version of himself that we've ever seen. Next week, Nick Gage will face off against the Painmaker. He turned around and revealed the Painmaker face paint and then put on the fedora hat. And I go, cool. You're still going to beat Nick Gage, and we all know it. And it's like, meh, whatever. Are they really going to let Nick Gage use the pizza cutter? He had it with him tonight, but are they really going to let him use it? Is Jericho going to say, cut me with that pizza cutter? I don't know. But speaking of next week, we do know in a no disqualification match, we got Jericho versus Gage. FTR will be taking on Santana and Ortiz. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express will be taking on Private Party and Angelico. We've got Archer versus Hikuleo. I believe the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship is on the line. There's a 10-man elimination tag. The Elites, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and the Good Brothers versus Hangman Page, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. Good to see John Silver is cleared. Would have liked to see 10 in this match somehow, but Vance Archer's just got to be on the ringside. And they also announced, which will be very interesting, Tony Khan will be live on the show with, quote, a major new live event announcement. We have no clue what that means. Is that a special thing for Dynamite? Is that something special for the new Rampage show coming up? Are they adding a 5th pay-per-view? Nobody knows. I have no clue. Also, we do know in 2 weeks at Homecoming in Jacksonville, Cody Rhodes will be taking on Malachi Black. Basically, they made this seem like Cody's God and Malachi's the devil. Video package hyped up that feud as we went into our main event. IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship on the line in the Texas Death Match. Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley. The only way to win is by knockout or submission. Basically, it's last man standing or submission. As soon as Archer got into the ring, Moxley went immediately after him before the bell even rang. He grabbed a kendo stick. He repeatedly whacked Archer with it, but Archer shrugged off the shots, basically no-sold them. He traded forearms in the center of the ring before Archer cut Moxley off with a pounce followed by a running cannonball and a senton to the floor. Moxley sent Archer through the barricade with a running shoulder tackle. They fought up into the crowd, where Moxley leapt off of a structure and struck Archer, but Archer shrugged it off and then used, I guess, a planted person as a weapon. Just grabbed a guy out of the crowd and threw him at Moxley. And they're like, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Who was that? And we never got a follow-up. Back in the ring, Archer cut off a top rope suicida with a forearm before exposing the concrete floor below. Moxley fought out of a hold and planted Archer face first on the concrete with the paradigm shift. Archer would struggle to get to his feet. Before getting to his feet, busted open. Moxley produced a fork and repeatedly stabbed Archer's face and head with it. During a commercial break, Moxley set up some tables on the outside. Once we came back from break, Moxley wrapped a chair around Archer's leg and landed on it, pulmonizing the ankle. Moxley tried to follow this up with a trash can lid shot, but Archer punched Moxley in the face. They traded right hands for a little while before Moxley bit Archer's face. Archer fired up and went for a ripcord lariat. Moxley hit a release German, but Archer hit a big boot and a ripcord black hole slam. Archer set up some chairs and went for a blackout, and he did it right through the chairs. Moxley, though, fought out and hit a low blow. Archer then popped up and chokeslammed Moxley through the chairs. Moxley made it up at the 8 count here and continued a running attack and a big lariat, followed by a paradigm shift. Archer popped up at 4 and flipped off Moxley. Moxley stabbed at Archer's head with the fork again. Moxley would then grab a barbed wire board from under the ring and prop it up on the tables at ringside. Moxley went for a paradigm shift, threw the boards and the tables off the apron, which was how he originally won the title in Wrestle Kingdom. Archer, though, fought out using the fork. He then chokeslammed Moxley off the apron, through the 2 tables in the barbed wire board. Moxley could not get up at the 10 count, and Moxley loses the match, losing the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship to Lance Archer. I felt like Archer had to win this match. Archer's lost too many big matches. Because if he lost tonight, I'd never believe Archer again in AEW. Like, I would just never care about him again. But the win tonight was great. Hikuleo then gets in the ring, and Jim Ross goes, I didn't realize how big he is. Archer's like 6'10", and this kid's bigger. These two will face off next week. Hikuleo looked legit 7 foot. I think he's like 6'11", 7 foot, something like that. He made Archer look small, which is like, fuck. I didn't realize how small he actually is. They had to keep telling us, that's the son of Haku. That's the son of Haku. And he was wearing his Bullet Club shirt. But with that, that was AEW Dynamite. That was a pretty good episode of Dynamite. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. The number is in the live chat, and boom, right there. Right there. Bottom of the screen. Bada bing, bada boom. Now it's gone. It'll be back. First off, let's check the text messages and see if you guys actually liked tonight's Dynamite or not. As far as we're going to take the polls first. Twitch poll. 88% of you did like tonight's show. Or 13% thought it was just all right. No, 13% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 74% of you liked the show, 17% thought it was all right, and 9% did not like tonight's Dynamite. With that, let's see here. Text messages. First one says, do you see Hangman winning the AEW World title at the next AEW pay-per-view? I would like to. I don't think he does, though. Give me 1 second here. I've got a message I need to read. All right. Nope. Next text message here does state, open the wrong thing. Why is it not loading? Let me refresh the text messages really fast, guys. All right. Here we go. This one says, the main event was great. Do you think Moxley will get a rematch or possibly try to reclaim the AEW World Championship? That's a tough one. I think he goes for the AEW World title now. You do the whole Hangman stuff. I don't know what he does going into All Out, but after All Out, I think he's the focus of going for Omega. He says, what a great Dynamite. What match are you excited for next week? Me, it's a 10-man tag. 10-man tag as well, because I really want to see how they do that match. Says, what current AEW storyline is your favorite, and what match are you excited to see most? I think Santana Ortiz versus FTR. I don't know what my favorite storyline is. I'm a huge Hangman fan. I'll say that for sure. So maybe that. And I am excited for the 10-man tag next week. Scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Fyter Fest? I'd give it a 7.5, almost an 8. Says, I thought AEW was a really great show. I'm really enjoying the Andrade and Death Triangle storyline. Well, there's one, because I'm not. Also, AEW should do where MJF brings in guys from Jericho's past. It will be CM Punk in his Labors of Jericho storyline. What do you think? Punk ain't coming in quick enough. From what I've heard, Punk ain't coming in quick enough. Punk hasn't signed yet. Punk is not signed to AEW. They could still say, well, we tried, but we didn't get him. They tried before, and they didn't get CM Punk. So it's not a guaranteed thing still. Person says, did you hear that AJ Lee is going to AEW? No, she's not. No. What? Who the fuck? Where'd you hear that from? That hasn't been reported by anybody with any credibility. I'm going to say that right now. Just because her husband's in talks means nothing for her. If anybody's reporting AJ Lee is going to AEW, then they're lying to you, bro. It's just people trying to make something out of nothing just because the CM Punk thing. Just because her husband is in talks with AEW doesn't mean that she wants to go to AEW. For all we know, she doesn't even want to wrestle anymore. Or says CM Punk coming back. they were saying the same thing about AJ Lee coming back to WWE. No one's ever said AJ was coming back. I don't remember when AJ Lee left WWE. There's legit been not a credible source to say that she was going back. Ever. Nobody, no reporter in wrestling with credibility ever said that AJ Lee is going back to WWE. Ever. Never. So I don't know where you guys are hearing things. And if you ever read something in the past, well, it was false or poppycock, as they say. Where it says, I would love WWE to bring back to Be Loved by Papa Roach. That's one of my favorite Raw intros. Where it says, how long do you see Archer holding the title for, and who may he drop it to? I can't say because that's a tough situation because A, that's not an AEW title. And B, New Japan, it's kind of hit and miss right now how they work with the American guys because they can't get them to Japan. And that's been a title that was heavily focused on in Japan before the pandemic. So how long he holds it, I honestly don't know. For all we know, Hikuleo can win it next week and bring it back to Japan. Or says, do you think Braun Strowman going to AEW? No fucking clue. Mark Henry wants him there. That's all we've ever heard is just Mark Henry wants him there. This person says, not AEW related, it's the final text message, so I'll read it. We know John is more than likely not winning at SummerSlam. Do you think he will get another run or two with the WWE or Universal Championship before he hangs up the boots and retires? No, I don't think so. I mean, if he does, it would be a shock to me. Because Cena's fully focused on movies and TV and acting. And I don't think Cena would actually do something half-assed to get a title run. Because if you know right now, Cena's coming back for a month and working as many shows as possible. So if Cena were to win the title, he's not going to be like, I'm going to win your title, but I'll show up like every 4 weeks because I'm busy filming stuff. He wouldn't do that. It'd either be where he takes just complete hiatus from Hollywood, which he's not going to do now because his career is booming, and any time off he takes and any roles that he rejects is going to hurt him. So no, I don't see it happening because his career is just blowing up right now. Like, we see John Cena, like, oh, John Cena got this role. But then all of a sudden you get a new announcement. It's like, John Cena got this role, and it's this much better than his last one. And then it's like, John Cena just got another role that's this much better than his last one. And then he got another role that's this much better. Like, John Cena's roles just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, he did some good movies when he first, left WWE. And then he did that Cockbrockers movie, and that was like about right here. Then he did Bumblebee, which is right about here. Then he did Fast and the Furious, which is right about here. Then Suicide Squad, which I don't know. I think it's right on level with Fast and Furious. But then he's got this new spy movie he's doing with a lot of big names, which may be bigger than Fast and the Furious. He's also got his own show coming to HBO with the Peacemaker character. Think about this. Out of everybody in that Suicide Squad movie, they felt that John Cena played his role better than, like, from the reports we've read from like Deadline and Variety. They felt that John Cena portrayed his character so well, better than anybody else, that they thought he'd give this man his own show. That's how good that the producers at Warner Media thought John Cena did on the set and in filming of Suicide Squad. They thought that this fucker was so good that he deserved his own show. Like, I was going to say right now, Margot Robbie has now played, this would be her third time playing Harley Quinn. She did, the first Suicide Squad, then they brought her back for Birds of Prey, now they brought her back from the new Suicide Squad. Didn't even get her own television show. Cena's getting his own, I think, 8-episode show, maybe 10. That's huge. Huge to come off of that movie and get your own television show. So Cena's killing it right now. And I don't see a time where he takes time off from Hollywood, which in turn would mean he would have to reject roles for pro wrestling, which he's already done. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, you can follow us on social media, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Remember, guys, we will be back on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. So have a great night, and I'll see you next time. All right.